All right, so picture this. You're playing a mobile game, but you're actually earning something worthwhile while you're at it.
It's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, it's the whole promise behind Tap to Earn. And today, we're going to do a deep dive on one game in particular that's been making some noise.
Making waves.
Yeah, Go Tapper.
Go Tapper.
Yeah.
And for all you listeners out there who love to, learn and understand new things.
Right.
We've got this really neat article here that we're going to be looking at. And it explains how Goat Tapper is adding like these extra layers of strategy and community.
Oh, cool.
To a genre that's often considered a bit too simplistic.
Yeah, we've all seen those games like where you're just tapping the screen endlessly, right?
Yeah.
It seems like Goat Tapper is doing things a little bit differently.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's interesting that instead of just the mindless tapping,
Right.
Goat Tapper actually brings in this strategic decision making.
Oh, cool.
So you have to think about how you're using your in-game tokens.
Right.
Do you upgrade your goat's tapping speed or unlock new areas with different resources? These choices add a layer of complexity that keep players engaged.
Oh, I see.
So that's more than just tapping.
So there's more to it than meets the eye, for sure.
Yeah.
But what about the rewards? What are people actually earning?
Well, Goat Tapper has its own in-game tokens
Okay.
that you can use to get different rewards.
Okay.
Or you can even trade them in a marketplace.
Oh, wow.
But what really sets it apart
Yeah.
is their plan to actually integrate blockchain technology.
Blockchain, huh? That's a pretty hot topic these days. Can you break that down a bit for me?
Yeah, so basically blockchain allows these in-game tokens to actually exist outside of Goat Tapper's servers.
Oh, okay.
So it's like they become real digital assets that you own.
Oh, wow.
Instead of just, entries in a database controlled by the company.
Right.
This opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
So instead of just earning those virtual rewards within the game,
Right.
players could actually trade these tokens on other platforms.
Exactly. It's still being developed, but the potential is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
It could create a whole new way for players to generate income while they're doing something they enjoy.
Yeah, that's definitely something that would pique our interest for sure.
Yeah.
But it also sounds like it could get pretty complex.
Yeah.
Are there any challenges or potential downsides to this blockchain integration?
Of course, with any new technology, there are going to be some challenges.
Yeah.
We need to think about things like security fairness and making sure that the value of these tokens remains stable.
Right.
But it's a fascinating development.
Yeah.
And we'll dive deeper into all of that later on, for sure.
Okay, sounds good. So we've got this interesting mix,
Right.
strategy, community, and this cutting edge technology.
Yeah.
But we know our listeners, they aren't just interested in how it works.
Right.
They want to know how Goat Tapper keeps people coming back for more.
Right. Well, one of the key factors is that they really emphasize community.
Oh, okay.
They've got these features like clans where you can join up with other players.
Right.
And these collaborative bonuses that you can get by working together.
Right.
And these features not only make the game more fun,
Right.
but they also really encourage players to actually connect and support each other.
Yeah. It sounds like they're really trying to foster that sense of belonging within the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that sense of belonging can be incredibly powerful
Yeah.
when it comes to engagement and retention.
Yeah, I bet.
We all know that our listeners are always looking for ways to leverage their skills and their time.
Right.
And being part of a community can make all the difference.
Yeah. I mean, it's like finding a group of people who share your passions and can help you achieve your goals, right?
Precisely.
Wow.
And Go Tapper seems to really understand the importance of that social aspect.
That makes a lot of sense. So we've covered the strategic gameplay,
Yeah.
the potential for earning through blockchain,
Right.
and the strong community aspect.
Uh-huh.
Is there anything else that makes Goat Tapper stand out from the crowd?
Well, they haven't just been sitting around.
Yeah.
They've got this ambitious roadmap of updates planned,
Oh, wow.
including some really innovative features that push the boundaries of what's possible in a tap-to-earn game.
Okay, now you've really got my attention. What kind of updates are we talking about?
Well, one of the most exciting things is that they're planning to introduce player-owned farms
Oh, wow.
where your goats can actually produce unique resources.
What?
Imagine trading virtual goat cheese on the blockchain.
Whoa, that's next level.
It is.
Yeah.
And it really shows that they're committed to constantly evolving
Yeah,
and finding new ways to engage players.
that's a good sign, especially if you're looking for a game that's built for the long haul.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away with all the excitement,
Yeah.
I think it's important to take a step back and kind of consider the bigger picture.
Yeah.
We've talked about all the potential upsides,
Right.
but, is there a dark side to this whole tap-to-earn phenomenon?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. Are there any red flags that players should be aware of?
Yeah, those are some good points. And that's exactly what we'll be unpacking next.
Okay.
So stay tuned because we're just getting started.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah. It's really easy to get caught up in all the hype,
Right.
especially with a game like Goat Tapper.
Yeah.
That's doing so many new things. But it is super important to approach anything new with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Yeah. So let's talk about those red flags. What should players be looking out for in the tap-to-earn space?
One thing to watch out for are games that promise, like, unrealistic returns.
Okay.
If it sounds too good to be true,
Right.
it probably is.
Yeah.
Remember, sustainability is key.
Right.
Look for games that focus on building a solid foundation, not just trying to generate a bunch of hype really quickly.
Right, because a game that crashes and burns doesn't benefit anybody.
Exactly. It's also crucial to research the developers
Okay.
and look at their track record.
Yeah.
Like, has they delivered on their promises in the past? Are they transparent about their business model and how they plan to keep the game's economy stable?
Transparency is definitely key. I think it builds trust and helps players make informed decisions.
For sure.
But even with a game like Goat Tapper,
Right.
which seems to be doing a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
There are like inherent challenges to this whole tap-to-earn model.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the biggest challenges is the potential for, like, market saturation.
Oh, okay.
As more and more of these tap-to-earn games come out,
Right.
the competition is going to get really intense.
Yeah.
It could lead to, like, a race to the bottom where developers start cutting corners
Right.
or making these promises they can't actually keep.
So how does a game like Goat Tapper avoid getting lost in the shuffle?
I think their focus on community is a big part of it.
Okay.
They're not just building a game.
Right.
They're building a loyal player base
Uh-huh.
that's actually invested in seeing the game succeed.
Right.
And that sense of shared ownership can be really powerful.
It's like they're creating a movement, not just another mobile game.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And their commitment to constantly innovating
Right.
with things like those player-owned farms we talked about.
Right.
It shows that they're thinking long-term.
Yeah.
They're not just chasing the latest trends. They're actually setting them.
But even with all of the innovation and community building,
Right.
the success of this whole model really hinges on blockchain technology, which is still relatively new and unproven
Yeah,
in the gaming world.
it is.
Are there risks associated with that?
Well, there are always risks with any new technology.
Right.
One concern is how volatile the cryptocurrency markets can be.
Go.
Even if Goat Tapper's tokens are backed by a strong in-game economy,
Right.
their value could be affected by things outside the developer's control.
So players need to be aware that there's a speculative element to this,
Right.
just like with any investment.
Exactly. And then there are security concerns, too.
Right.
Blockchain is supposed to be super secure,
Yeah.
but there are always going to be vulnerabilities that hackers might try to exploit.
Okay.
So Goat Tapper is going to have to invest heavily in really robust security
Yeah.
to protect both the game and the players.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a lot of responsibility for the developers.
It is.
But let's kind of shift gears a little bit here
Okay.
and talk about the impact that this tap-to-earn model could have on like the gaming experience itself.
Yeah.
Some people say that it could turn games into work
Right.
and take away some of the joy and escapism that people are looking for in a game. What are your thoughts on that?
It's an interesting debate, for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's an easy answer.
Right.
I think it really depends on the individual player
Uh-huh.
and what their motivations are.
Right.
For some people, the potential to earn rewards might actually make it more fun.
Okay.
It gives them a sense of purpose or accomplishment.
Yeah.
But for others, it could feel like a chore and actually make it less enjoyable.
So it's like a double-edged sword in a way.
It could be, but I think we have to remember that games have always been about more than just escapism.
Right.
They could be a source of challenge and creativity and social connection.
Right.
And if it's done right,
Yeah.
this tap-to-earn model could actually make all of those things even better.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing,
No.
but it's just important to be aware of the potential downsides and
Yeah.
approach it with realistic expectations.
Exactly. It's all about finding a good balance.
Right.
And I think Go Tapper, with its focus on community
Yeah.
and strategy and building a sustainable game,
Right.
is trying to do just that.
Yeah, they're definitely making some bold moves, and it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
It will.
But let's zoom out for a second here and consider like the wider implications.
Yeah.
Could this tap-to-earn model, if it actually takes off in the gaming world, extend to other industries as well?
That's a really interesting question.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where you could earn rewards for things like completing online courses.
Right.
Or hitting your fitness goals. Or even participating in, like, citizen science projects.
Yeah, it's a gamifying real life.
Yeah.
And turning everyday activities into opportunities to learn,
Yeah.
grow, and to potentially even earn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
I think we're really just scratching the surface here
Yeah.
of what could be possible with this model.
It's an exciting time to be following all this, that's for sure.
It is.
But before we get too lost in thinking about the future, let's bring it back to the present.
Okay.
We've talked about the potential upsides and downsides
Yeah.
of this whole tap-to-earn thing.
Uh-huh.
But what does it actually mean for someone listening to us right now?
Right.
Like, what's the key takeaway?
Okay, so we've really gotten into the nitty-gritty, all the ins and outs of Goat Tapper,
Yeah.
the potential of tap-to-earn in general.
Right.
And we even took a little peek into the future.
We did. But what does this all actually mean?
Right.
For someone listening in right now?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is this. The landscape of gaming. And even how we think about the value of our time.
Right.
It's all changing.
Yeah.
Goat Tapper is a perfect example of how technology is blurring the lines between work and play.
It's like those lines were never really that clear to begin with, right? I mean,
Right.
we all find enjoyment in our work and we put a lot of effort into our hobbies.
Yeah.
Goat Tapper just seems to like formalize that overlap in a really interesting way.
Exactly. And for you, the listener, this means opportunity.
Oh.
Whether you decide to check out Goat Tapper or not,
Yeah.
I hope this deep dive at least got you thinking.
When we first started talking about blockchain and all those in-game economies, I have to admit it was a bit intimidating.
Right.
But you really explained it in a way that made it feel accessible and even exciting.
Well, that's always the goal.
Yeah.
To break down these complex topics and empower people with knowledge.
For sure.
And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe this deep dive got you thinking.
Right.
Maybe you'll be the one to come up with the next amazing use for this technology.
Okay, that's a challenge I can get behind.
Yeah.
I might not be a blockchain expert tomorrow, but what I've learned today has definitely changed how I see gaming.
Oh, yeah.
I used to think of it as just a way to relax and have fun.
Yeah.
But now I see the potential for it to be a lot more.
Exactly. And that's what's so cool about constantly learning new things.
Yeah.
It opens up your mind to new possibilities.
Oh, for sure.
So as you go about your day to day,
Yeah.
maybe start looking for those possibilities.
Yeah.
Could your workouts be a tap-to-earn experience? What about learning a new language?
Yeah, I love that. Suddenly those everyday things seem to have all sorts of hidden potential.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe Goat Tapper is just the beginning.
Right.
Maybe in a few years, we'll be doing a deep dive on a whole new industry that's been completely transformed by this idea.
Well, I can't wait to see what happens.
Me too.
And until then, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on Goat Tapper
Same here.
and how this whole tap-to-earn world evolves.
It's going to be exciting.
So to our listener, we say, stay curious,
Yeah.
stay informed,
Yes.
and keep on tapping into those possibilities.
Happy tapping.
And that wraps up another deep dive. We'll catch you next time for another exploration of something new and exciting. Until then, keep those minds sharp and those thumbs tapping